many people ask that if BJP is defeated in the election, so fascism will be defeated. We say no. Fascism can be defeated. Defeating fascism is a long drawn battle. Defeating fascism means what? First, then we have to understand what fascism is. Fascism is basically an answer to the acute capitalist crisis. Capitalism, from its very inception, capitalism has a peculiar character. Capitalism always goes from boom period to the crisis, and from this crisis they again come back to the boom period. So from boom to bust and bust to boom. So this is their cycle. This is called capitalist cycle. Nowadays, what is happening that this crisis is so much powerful that it is not a very easy process to come from crisis to boom. It is not like previous days or Marx's time. Now, in this, after 200 years, when Marx wrote about this cycle in Capital, from that time, after 200 years, today, the situation is such that crisis is very much grave. So it is not very easy. When you are in a crisis, it is not very easy to come from crisis to boom. In 1930s, say 100 years, almost 100 years back, that was also the time when from crisis to boom, this was difficult. And then this fascism emerged as an answer that how capitalism can come back from crisis to boom. So therefore, they changed the whole administrative system, ruling system. Previously, capitalist rule, when we generally talk about the capitalist rule, that means that the rule of the whole capitalist class. Rule of the whole capitalist class, and dictatorship over proletariat and the toiling masses. So this is the capitalist rule. But fascism is not the rule of the whole capitalist class. Fascism is the rule of the teeny section of capitalist, the most reactionary section of the capitalist. So they changed the whole ruling pattern in such a way that a new type of administration or new type of governance, new type of government comes, which is totally dictatorial and no question of democracy, and it gains a popular support from the people, because fascism is basically a reactionary mass movement. It develops on the reactionary mass movement. They gain popular support from the people on the basis of reactionary ideology. In the 1930s Germany, the reactionary ideology was that against the Jew people, against the other non-Aryan people, because the pure blood of the Aryans, at that time it was, this concept came into the forefront. And the fascists, they advocated this, that we are Aryans, our blood is pure, so we have to cleanse. The ethnical cleansing question came. We have to annihilate all the non-Aryan blood. So all these things, these reactionary philosophies and reactionary ideology came on that basis. That type it stood. Now in India, the question is, BJP RSS is developing their fascist rule on a reactionary ideology, that the Brahminism, it is called Brahminism. They are using the term Hindu, but if you see that their ideology is not covering all the Hindus, because the working masses, according to their figure, that 80% of the population in India, that is Hindu. That means when the peasants are committing suicide, the 80% of them are Hindu. When the workers, they are not getting their rights, minimum wage, no rule in their favor. in this working class or working people, 80% Hindu. So they are not safeguarding the Hindus as well, but they are using this term because they want a division. They are openly saying the 80-20 division we are talking about. 80% is Hindu, 20% is Muslim. So now they are targeting Muslim openly. Openly they are saying that these Muslim people, they should go to Pakistan or Bangladesh. We, India, the Hindu will be the first class citizen and the Muslim will be the second class citizen. But actually what is happening? Actually we are seeing that the working people, they are oppressed. They are 80% is Hindu. Hindu workers, Hindu peasants, all these people are facing a grave exploitation by this ruling class and fascist government. So now the thing is that by this way they are actually excluding the people. Fascist rule is basically excluding the people. So this is an answer of capitalist crisis. By giving this answer, they are trying to come out from this crisis to boom again. High exploitation, higher rate of exploitation, no rule in favor of the working class. All these things they are applying. Total control of the multinational company. There will be no public sector. There will be nothing in favor of the public as per se. So therefore, in this way, they are trying to come to the bust to boom. That is an answer to the capitalist crisis. Then we communists or those who will ideologically oppose the fascism, then they must have their answer to the capitalist crisis. So in the time of 30s, there are communist party, they had an answer. Soviet Union was the answer. Soviet rule was the answer. Soviet economy was the answer. When 1930s there are Great Depression. In 1929 the Great Depression started. 1929 December. So in the 1930s this Great Depression could not touch the Russian economy. Russian economy was booming. When whole world, especially Europe and America, came under crisis, Russia was booming. So communists had an answer to the capitalist crisis that yes, see Russia, follow Russia. If we can establish the Soviet rule in our country, if we can establish the socialist economy in our country, then this capitalist crisis will be over. So the communists had an answer. And the bourgeoisie also, those who are non-fascist bourgeoisie. This non-fascist bourgeoisie also had an answer in international level because they developed Keynesian system. Keynesian system was developed. So they are having an answer, that is the Keynesian system, and later that after Second World War, this Keynesian system was established in the capitalist world, and Soviet system was established in the socialist part of the globe at that time. So we people had an answer in that time, but now we do not have an answer. That is the big problem. So you have to develop the answer. You have to establish the answer in today's context. That is our task. Neither the bourgeoisie, neither they have an answer, neither the communist, not the communist, they have an answer. Neither bourgeoisie nor communist, no answer of the capitalist crisis. So we have to develop an answer. If you want to defeat fascism in the long run, then you have to develop your answer. Then only the defeating fascism is possible. Otherwise, defeating fascism is not possible. Defeating fascism is not only a military success, it is also an economic success, a political success. So this socio-political and economic success means that you must have a path, economic model, economic answer, social answer. All these things you must have. Today we do not have. Neither bourgeoisie nor the communists have this answer. Therefore, you have to develop this answer. For that, you need time. Now we are in a present condition. We are in a very peculiar condition. They say it's somewhat defeated, scattered, not united, sometimes no direction. This type of condition, the communist camp is there now. So from here, if you have to reach to a particular position, political position, where you have a political answer, economic answer, it will take some time. Your time is needed. Then you have to buy time. Buying time means what? Buying time means that you have to keep the fascist forces out from the power. It is not defeating them completely, but keeping them out of the power, keeping them at bay. So this is the tactical question. And for this tactical question, we need to defeat them electorally. If we do not have the power, then you have to depend on the opposition alliance to defeat them. By this way, you cannot defeat fascism. Electorally defeat is not tantamount to the defeating fascism totally. Defeating fascism is a longer battle. For this longer battle, you need to have some time. This time, if the fascist is in power, you have no time. You will not get any time. They will not give you time. So, time is only could be bought when these fascist forces can be kept out of the
Direct
power
ruling.
and direct ruling. So that is the thing. That is why we have to depend on this opposition rule. But we know very well that this opposition, they are not concerned with the people's interest only. Whether there is a minority, if they do not get their right, they are not concerned. If the workers will get minimum wages, rights, they are not concerned. If the peasant will get land, the landless peasant will get land, they are not concerned. If the Dalit atrocities on the Dalit will carry on, will go or stop, they are not concerned. They are only concerned to their scheme. Because under the fascist rule, the non-fascist bourgeoisie, non-fascist means those who cannot be the fascist. They want to be the fascist. But being fascist is not a very easy thing. It is not possible for all capitalist party to be a fascist. For being fascism or for being a fascist, you need to develop a reactionary ideology and reactionary mass movement. In the particular context of India, only BJP has this ability. RSS and BJP has this ability. No other bourgeois forces has this ability. Therefore, that is why we term them non-fascist bourgeoisie. It never, it is not tantamount to that they are ideologically against fascism. No, they are not ideologically against fascism. But they cannot be fascist. That ability, that skill, they do not possess. That is the only thing. So they are not concerned with the people's issue. So that is why here the power of communists is very important. In the anti-fascist alliance, it should be under the leadership of the communist forces. Otherwise, this anti-fascist alliance may not be successful. In 30s, if there is no Soviet Union, if there is no Third International, the anti-fascist alliance could not be successful. So now also it is a question that who will lead. This question is very important. If Congress will lead, if AAP will lead, if Mamata Banerjee will lead, we know what they are doing and what they have done. They have done the same thing. Not identical with the fascist, but as policy-wise, you know.
Economic policy.
Economic policy. And even the political policy, you know that if you talk about democracy, so under the Congress government, under the TMC government, under the DMK government, under the other parties government, all of the states, this question is coming that democracy is not being practiced. So all this, yes, I agree that fascists are taking the whole thing in a different dimension, where they cannot reach, but they cannot ideologically lead anti-fascist. My point is that. So ideological leader is a communist, but Communist Party are not strong, they are not united. So if there can be, we can build a united communist platform, which can be not only anti-fascist, but at the same time anti-neoliberalism. So if CPM and CPI, the biggest problem with them that they are practicing neoliberalism where they are in power. When they are not in power, they are against neoliberalism. But when they are in power, they are practicing neoliberalism. That is their great problem. So they have to shun this path. They have to openly come out against neoliberalism, not only anti-fascist position, but at the same time they must be anti-neoliberalism. So if the communist bloc can be developed, or some kind of left and different type of left, like in Greece there was one alliance of the left and communist parties came few days back few years back, and that is, it is called Syriza. At the time of the even problem was there, and especially the sovereign debt crisis of Greece. Sovereign debt crisis of Greece cropped up. This problem at that time, huge economic crisis cropped up in Greece. So at that time, this Syriza was formed, the larger left and communist alliance. Different sects, different streams of the communist or left or red flag parties, we can see. So these came together. Here also, this type of alliance is important. But the thing is that condition is that all the component forces of this left alliance or left blocs must be anti-neoliberalism. They need to self-criticize their own activities in past and present under this light. Then only these type of things can be come out. And if this alliance will come out or emerge, then only the whole picture will be different. And defeating fascism, not only electorally, at the same time in the long-term battle against fascism, and the real defeat of the fascism will be possible. In this direction we can go forward. That is our understanding.